going southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll...
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tristan and Tony with the Zero Duck 30 podcast. So you've heard us talk about before, but the Huntwise app is allowing us to do something really cool with our followers. Why don't you tell them about it, Tony?
20% off if you download the app and use code DUCK30. You're going to get 20% off the Elite or the Pro version. I highly recommend that you try it out. You can do a monthly subscription or you can do an annual. But check it out, you guys. It's our best tool that we use out in the field.
So today's guest, we're really excited. We got Zach from Buck Gardner Calls. And correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but your title is you're the marketing and social media guy for Buck Gardner, correct?
That's right.
Heck yeah. So we are, wanted to get into some of your background right off the bat and really just kind of how you came to connect with Buck Gardner and just some of your hunting background.
Yeah, and who is Buck Gardner? I know a lot of us guys that have been in the industry for a while. Of course, we know that name. It's like a name that we hear all the time. So anyway, go ahead and talk about who they are and where you're at with that.
Okay, so I'll start off with how I got to be a part of Buck Gardner. In December of 2020, I graduated from the University of Mississippi with my Bachelor of Marketing, and my dream was to work in marketing for an outdoor company. Didn't necessarily have Buck Gardner in mind, but I was open to any possibility. And I saw where they had a need for a shipping and receiving manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I have no experience in that, but I'm going to apply. And lo and behold, they called me back. And March of 2021, I started here. I started as a part-time tuner, and then I took the role of shipping and receiving and operations and warehouse and just about anything they needed done that I could do, I did it. And that slowly transitioned into me taking over the social media. And then January of 22, I took the role of director of marketing. And so all the social media, the podcast, if I'm not on the camera, I'm with the camera, whether it's, hunting or getting in shop content, all that good stuff. And so, I'm thrilled to be where I'm at. I'm blessed. And, I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be in my life right now. So I feel like I'm, very blessed to be where I'm at. But a little background on Buck Gardner, for those that don't know, Buck won Worlds and Champion of Champions. Started the company in 96, so 2021 was our 25-year anniversary. Buck is obviously well known for his probably most popular call is the double nasty. Seems like everybody I run into is like, oh, my first call was a double nasty. And we're still making that duck call and always will. We never will not make that duck call. But Buck was really known for trying to help the everyday hunter. The ones that work 5 days a week or 6 days a week and only get to hunt 1 day or 2 days during the week or on the weekends. His mission was to help those type guys out. And he's huge and we still are with the kids and the youth in the hunting world. We do a ton of stuff, and we have a great pro staff and with guys that go to calling seminars and with build a call kits and all types of stuff like that, and we still do all that. Now, Buck actually is not still with the company. Buck reached retirement age, and he's living out his retirement life now. But the company's in some good hands with our ownership and management and stuff like that. And we feel like we're on the right track with all the new stuff we've got coming out, the content we're producing and trying to get. We're very excited about the future here.
Heck yeah, man. That's a great kind of background and good to know. So being that you're, in the social media marketing type role there, what are some of the challenges you've had to face, coming into that role?
Yeah, and we definitely talked about that on the BG podcast. But,
yes, sir.
TikTok, man, and it's it's the nature of the beast. It is what it is, and like we said, we've just got to fight the good fight. And TikTok it seems like to be one of the most popular social media apps. It's I don't know, since 2020, probably 2019 is when it came to get really popular, and TikTok is definitely not a friend of the hunting community. Any, harvesting of wild animals and shooting guns and even some stuff you say, as far as that stuff goes, it's banned and it's censored, taken down, and you're given warnings and stuff like that. And I mentioned it on ours, but my personal account and the Buck Gardner account, I'm one, like, quote unquote bad post away from being banned on both of those. So that has been my biggest challenge. But another one that we actually did not talk about is, I don't necessarily know when it was implemented, but Instagram's algorithm, the way they do things, it's not timeline based anymore. It's strictly like algorithm based. I forget the exact word for that, but it goes off what Instagram thinks you want to see and not what's posted in the timeline that it's posted.
Correct.
So, even if you post when your followers are active, you look at your analytics, sometimes it doesn't even matter, because even if you post it, they might not even be seeing it. So that's a big challenge I faced with Instagram, and Facebook is, God help me, Facebook is not my friend. It seems like we've got a huge following on Facebook, and nobody sees our stuff, because Facebook obviously owns Instagram. I guess implemented the same tactics on that with the algorithm-based stuff. And for some people, it's almost like a luck thing. It just, if you happen to trend, then it skyrockets. But if you don't, then it's just like, even your followers that want to see your stuff and that are fans of you they're not even getting to see your stuff unless they go actually look up your page, which nobody's doing when they're just scrolling through their timeline.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's and it's a good point to bring up about the Instagram thing. And that makes sense with what we were kind of talking about earlier, and how the people aren't interacting with the duck hunting stuff right now because of the turkey, and that just makes sense. I didn't even think about it from a true perspective of their algorithm. People just legitimately aren't interacting with duck stuff right now.
Exactly. I mean, it's it like I said, it's the nature of the beast, and it's a hard fight, and we're trying to fight it, but it's almost like we're actually wasting really good content, hoping that it does something, when in reality it's you don't want to post the same thing twice, but you're almost forced to, because of how much of a premium that content is, and hiring people to get good content, or having the equipment to get good content. You don't want to waste good content, but with the way it is, the algorithms and stuff, it's like some of this really good stuff is not even getting seen, because it's whatever hashtag you're using might be in one day and out the next, and you just don't know.
Yep, they definitely keep us on our toes. It's crazy.
Yeah, and there's you could definitely one thing we didn't talk about on your show, that's a strategy of what we do is, Facebook and Instagram advertising is actually a very inexpensive way to get your name out there. And I've got some a couple different initiatives with some different media that we've pulled that we thought would be good for those. And you can really drill down, who you want the audience to be, where you want it. You can pretty much do whatever you want when it comes to targeting your audience, and getting those demographics that you want. And
exactly,
it's another way to get your name out there. And maybe we're in the mode of having to be a little bit of force feed with that right now. So. So Zach, as soon as we were talking about this outline and stuff, I'm like, well, first thing I want to know from him is, what's his favorite call? Hey, what's your favorite Buck Gardner call, and why do you use it?
Yeah, so it's actually one, like I said, I've only been here just a little over a year now, and it's something that we kind of, me and Adam and our tuner Alex, we just kind of sat around the round table, and we went through dozens and dozens and dozens of different tone boards, and we finally found one and got a new shape, and it's called the Audible. And we are actually kitting the stuff in now to get it tuned and engraved and stuff like that. But it's called the Audible, and it's really comparable to a hybrid style call. If you want to pop it like a cut down, you can, or if you want a clean, cadence on it, it does that as well. So you can blow it like a regular J frame, or if you want to bark like a cut down, it performs both ways. And I really think it's the first of its kind, being that it's not a pushing gut system like the Layers hybrid is. It's a standard J frame, but the sound you get out of it, I don't know of another call that performs like it does, and I would put it up against anybody. That's how confident I am in it. Wow. I used it all over the country. I went to Canada with it, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi. Used it everywhere. I loved it. So really excited that we're going to have that out this year.
That's awesome, man. And is that kind of frosty blue looking call that I've seen you guys been promoting?
Yes. And so if you go to our website, you'll get like the little advertisement for keeping up with our emails and stuff like that. And if you do that, you obviously will be informed before most people that that the call has been released or new gear has been released or whatever. But yeah, it's that blue frosty call. That color combination or that color option is not available. That was actually some sample rod that we ran. And there's like 2 or 3 of those in existence. I don't believe they are all at my house. So
heck yeah, man.
Well, thanks a lot, Zach. Now I'm gonna have to buy another call because now you got me interested, and I'm gonna have to be checking that out. Well, that kind of leads us right into really the next question: is what's going on at Buck Gardner? What's some of the new? You obviously talked about that call. What some of the newer things that you guys have been doing, and also, and it might tie into that. What makes you guys different? What's different about your calls?
Right. Yeah. So the biggest thing that's going on with us is we just moved our facilities. We're in a standalone facility now, still in Memphis, Tennessee. And we are still in the process of settling in and getting everything set up. But we will have going forward, I'm just in my office right now, but going forward, we'll have a media room for all of our sound files for our podcast going forward that we'll record. The podcast is new to Buck Gardner. The episode that we just did was episode number 7, so it's fairly new. And then we're working on, like I said, we got the new duck call. We're working on calls for fall 2023 already. New colors. We're working on, just everything, like duck calls, goose calls. Man, it's fun. Like, it's a good thing when you can come to work excited for what you got going on. And
heck yeah,
that's a lot of the new stuff that we've got going on. And we've got new apparel that's coming out for fall. And, like we were talking about earlier, the rope hats, they're so hard to find. We actually got our hands on some. So we've got some new swag out. I'm going to take credit for that. I don't care what Adam says. If you ever hear this, that was kind of my idea. But
real quick about the rope hats. One thing I want to ask you on, because me and Tony don't see eye to eye on this. I love like the standard like Richardson kind of look, and that's what we've always gone with. But I've been telling them for months now. I'm telling you, the trending like young person kind of hat right now is going towards this rope hat. He's like, I don't like a grandpa hat. Have you kind of got some of that feedback with some of the guys in Buck Gardner, or everybody on the same page with you?
No, it took some convincing with Adam. Adam's like, it actually, and then, okay, so he was like totally against it. And then I walked in his office one day, and he's like, I'm going to buy some of those rope hats. I'm like, I bet you are. So yeah, definitely it's just in style. And that's kind of the I guess the business way you got to look at it is, even if you don't necessarily like it, if it's in style and if it will sell, you got to get it done. And so that's kind of how we saw about that. But me, I wear it. Our tuner, it's definitely his style. He pulls it off way better than me, because our tuner has just he has an awesome style. And he'll wear ties with ducks on them, and he just has his loafers. He dresses to the nines, and he pulls it off way better than I do. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know something, Zach, and if I have to be honest, I learned this myself, so I think it's really cool, is you know, when I was kind of preparing for this call, I was not aware that you guys got into doing other types of calls besides just waterfowl. So talk a little bit about that.
Right. Yeah. We make a really good line of predator calls. Good as in like they're good quality, and also like there's a bunch of them. And it goes from coyote calls to what we call the raspy cotton jack. We actually introduced 4 new predator mouth calls this year. So we've got a really good assortment of predator calls. I don't predator hunt, but I actually had to get on the phone with a guy who called about, he didn't know how to work it. And so he called up here, and I was like, man, I'm going to give it the best shot. And sure enough, I started ripping on that coyote call. So I walked down the warehouse and I just started howling like a coyote out there. But yeah, we also make deer calls. We're working on new deer calls right now as well. We have a really good deer call, and you know, we're known for waterfowl, so it doesn't get probably the attention it deserves, but our deer grunt is very good, and we've got several different options yet, but we're also working on some new ones that will be in acrylic and diamond wood and stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, because that kind of it kind of gets with just about everything that a hunter's doing, you know, where they can kind of seep into your brand and say, hey, you know, I got Buck Gardner this, Buck Gardner that, Buck Gardner this, you know. So
Right.
Very cool, very cool, very cool.
Yeah, I haven't been able to convince Adam yet that we need some turkey calls. He's pretty well against that, but I'm still working on that. I'm still fighting the good fight on that, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Heck yeah. And why do you think that is? Do you think it's just because it's a super competitive space, or are they hard to kind of master, or what?
No, we really do focus on our waterfowl, and like I said, our predator and deer stuff is really good, and I'm not going to take away from that, but we are waterfowlers. The guys that work here, me, Adam, Alex, like that's what we do. I mean, I used to deer hunt. I don't anymore, but and that's what we want to focus on. Like most of our content, we talked about Adam doing a deer hunt because he deer hunts too. But he grew up in Arkansas, hunting the public land, and you know, I'm solid waterfowl, and we just wanted to devote our attention to mostly that and getting that, you know, back to where it can be, because you know, a few years ago, I mean, it's not really a secret that Buck Gardner kind of just got kind of stale as a brand, and you know, ownership brought in new management, and you know, made me director of marketing because there was some sort of marketing going on, but nobody really focusing too hard on that, and so we're really trying to just revive the brand and make it what Buck had it, you know, at one point. Where I mean, his was, like you said, Buck Gardner's a household name in the hunting world, and you know, we kind of got a bad rap for being a Walmart duck call, and because the waterfowler today wants to spend $130 on a duck call.
Yeah,
I mean they do. They want to wear Sitka. They want mud boats. They want all of it, right? They spend $1,500 plus on a shotgun, and you know they're going to spend the money, and that's not the problem.
Yeah,
but the quality was an issue there for a while. So, I mean, we threw out and got rid of and revamped and redid, and the stuff we've got now, man, I'm excited about it. Like I said, we've got really good stuff coming out now.
That's really cool, man. And one thing I wanted you to kind of talk about is you were telling me on the call before that some of the wins you've had since you've taken over as the marketing guy as far as follower numbers and that kind of thing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, give you a little bit of a humble brag here.
Humble brag, yeah. Well, I mean, I took over the Instagram, like I said, it's probably been a little less than a year, and I mean, it's not crazy numbers. It's not. I mean, you always want more. I mean,
sure.
I'm never going to be satisfied. I'm really competitive, so I'll never be satisfied. Like I look at these other call manufacturing accounts, and I'm like, I want more followers than them. And
sure,
like I said, it's the nature of the beast. Instagram has been very difficult. We do have a really big following on Facebook, and I've continued to grow it. But I grew our Instagram account as far as reach and engagement was up just like an absurd number from the previous year.
Awesome.
Like we're talking over 100% up.
Heck yeah.
And gained followers. I really don't even know the number. I know we were at 6,000 something, and we're about to hit 8,000.
Very nice.
Since I've taken it over, and I've created a TikTok page, and we're at like almost. I think we're almost at 3,000. We might be around 2,500
Mm-hmm.
followers and over 10,000 likes. And, that's just more exposure for the brand. And,
Heck yeah.
like I said, I always want it to be better, but I mean, it's definitely better than it was. And that's the goal.
Zach, something that came to mind as we're talking, and it's not on the outline, so I hope you don't mind me asking, but I was just sitting there thinking, one of the things that I think some of our listeners in the duck hunting world would like to hear, what have you guys had any challenges with COVID from a manufacturing standpoint and the availability of those materials, the acrylics, the woods, all these different types of materials you use, and talk a little bit about that and what you guys have done to overcome any challenges, if any.
Yeah, man. I mean, just like any industry, it's not just the hunting industry, it's worldwide. I mean, a lot of our components and stuff we've had, well, I mean, this didn't necessarily have to do with COVID, but our person in Little Rock, Arkansas that poured our polycarbonate, injection molded polycarbonate part, they quit making them for us. Like, I think they were going out of business. So we had to move that to another company in Texas that was a little bit higher priced. And, with everything, with the economy, we've had to go up on our prices, and it sucks that we're having to do that. But at the same time, we're growing, and our stuff is getting, the quality is, like I said, has gotten so much better that we've got to go up on the prices to match the qualities of parts we're actually purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see, like you would see, obviously, you spend more, you get more, I guess, per se. But yeah, COVID, a big thing is people are not able to blow duck calls in stores anymore. And that's not necessarily a supply chain issue as much as it is like, oh, look at this new Buck Gardner call. That thing sounds good. It's, oh, there's an acrylic Buck Gardner call. I'll rather go with the Rich and Tone or an Echo, because that's what they're known for. So that's a big thing because of COVID. Bass Pro and Sportsman's Warehouse and stuff. Like a guy called me yesterday, bought a duck call, and he bought the wrong one. He thought, or it was a predator call. He bought the wrong one. He bought a coyote and wanted a rabbit, and he couldn't send it back. And so, because it was a mouth call, like not the actual mouth call, but but it touched your mouth, I guess, is their argument.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue. And then obviously our supply chain issues, getting small components from overseas, that's been an absolute nightmare. We're at least 2 months behind on shipping our stuff for fall already. So
wow,
it's going to be a rough end of summer, early fall for us. We're going to be grinding, to say the least. Well,
I mean, thankfully, I'm sure everybody's in the same boat. Every industry is being affected by this, no matter what it is. So, it's thankfully it's not just, an issue that you guys are having, everyone's having,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like with what you guys have put in place, you've got your different players that are there or they're experienced people that have been chosen for this reason to bring back the life of the brand. And that's what you guys are out doing. I think it's super awesome.
Yeah. And like to hit on that a little bit, like we're going to more outdoor expos and shows, just getting the brand back out there and interacting with people like, hey, this is our stuff. You can blow this stuff here. Like you can put your hands on it and see the quality and hear the quality. And, it's amazing the people. They're like, Buck Gardner makes an acrylic call. Like, this sounds really good. And it's just like, I know. And I just wish I could tell more people that. But I mean, that's the whole goal.
Yep.
It's just getting the brand out there. And I mean, that's my role is getting Buck Gardner Call's message and name out there and a good light. And we're, like I said, we're trending in the right direction for sure.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I'm glad that, we're sharing that information with all our followers too, to help you guys out. I think that's neat.
Right. Yeah. And same for y'all on ours, like y'all's positive message. Like I'm glad, we got to share that through our channel as well.
Heck yeah, man.
Well, you guys, really, Zach, was there anything else that you wanted to kind of discuss today, or that's pretty much the questions that we kind of had to go over with you?
I got one more.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and answer that, Zach, and then if not, I got one more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of come in on the back end after we do that.
Okay.
With some stuff.
Well, you mentioned that, you've been a waterfowler and your family's been waterfowlers for 3 generations and stuff. I just kind of wanted to ask what I guess would be your favorite memory or favorite duck hunt of your waterfowling career so far?
Okay, so I may have mistranslated. I am actually the first waterfowler.
Oh,
like,
okay.
in my family, yeah.
Okay,
And,
gotcha.
like my family has a deer camp, and they've public land deer hunted their entire lives, and like all of them. Unfortunately, we lost my granddad this past year, and he was just like, a huge hunting role model to look up to.
Mhm.
And we had our hunting camp that had several generations that would stay there and hunt.
Mhm.
Once I moved into waterfowl, our deer camp isn't in a waterfowl location, so
Mhm.
I kind of quit going down there to go waterfowl hunting. But
Gotcha.
anyway, yeah. I would say my favorite waterfowl memory. Man, that's tough. I mean, especially in this past year, it's like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was a hardcore hunter. Not saying I'm a hardcore killer. I'm a hardcore hunter.
Mhm.
Put that out there. Just like we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
You're unsuccessful more times than not.
Right.
And this past year, like, my hunting experience just kind of blew up. Like, it was just like, I got to go to Canada, which was me and my friends. Like, that wasn't for Buck Gardner.
Mhm.
I went to Wisconsin with Buck Gardner. I went to Oklahoma with Buck Gardner. Hunted Arkansas a bunch this past year. And
Mhm.
I mean, I guess it's almost like, can I broaden that and say that
Yeah.
this past year has been like the most incredible, I guess, experiences ever? Because like I said on our podcast, I just got back from Kansas with my dad, and it's
Mhm.
just like, that was on my own, but I'm starting to travel more,
Mhm.
and that's my favorite hunting experience that I've ever had, was with turkey hunting with my dad this past weekend. Like,
Heck
that was
yeah.
the greatest thing ever. My favorite waterfowl experience, if I have to narrow it down, would be Canada, by
Nice.
far. I've seen some really cool stuff in Arkansas, like, ducks coming through the trees, like everybody loves, but
Mhm.
just video and words, you just can't paint the picture until you're actually there, just to see it for yourself. And so I would definitely say Canada. The whole trip now coming back was a little rough. It is only because of the good Lord that me and one of my friends probably didn't wrap that truck around a pole, because we were both so sleep deprived,
Man.
and trying to drive back with just 2 of us over 30 hours was very, very hard.
Wow.
But
I'm sure.
the going up there and then the scouting for ourselves, and actually, harvesting a good number of birds, that's probably my best waterfowl.
That sounds really special, and definitely a bucket list thing for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, that pretty much wraps up our podcast today. We had Zach from Buck Gardner. Zach, why don't you talk a little bit about where number one, where can we get Buck Gardner calls?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we got stores and online, but also where we can find you on your social media channels, et cetera.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, we're in most Bass Pros, Sportsman's Warehouse, Shields, places like that. You can always find us there, but go through our website. If I had to recommend, we have things on our website that we don't sell to retail stores that we can have custom done, custom options that you can select through our website, or even call up here and we can do something, that you're not going to get at a retail store. So I would recommend that through our website, or even call up here and place an order would be my recommendation. You'll probably get me on the phone, so you already know what I sound like. But you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Buck Gardner Calls, and then TikTok is BG Calls. So would really appreciate some following and support on those, because like we mentioned, it's been rough going at it for the hunting community, trying to get traction on those platforms.
Absolutely. We got to help each other out as hunters.
That's right. We sure do.
So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you checking out this podcast, and thank you, Zach, again for your time and allowing us to come on your podcast as well. Again, be sure to follow those guys. You can find us on social media at ZeroDuck30, and if you guys wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, we'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
I've been south